was it? Good evening. Welcome to Meditation with a Practitioner at Universal Spirit Center. Well, let's just start by taking a breath together and presencing ourselves right here. Deeply breathing in and exhaling. Feeling the divine wrap around you on the outside. And in Science of Mind, we're aware that we're touched from the inside because that's where spirit also dwells. I always felt that was sort of lucky, inside and outside. So before we start our meditation, we're going to add a little introduction, you might say, to affirmative prayer that we do here. And it does have 5 steps, and I like to talk about each step and my experience with them. And if you have any other different experiences with the different steps, please join in. So the first step is recognition. And if you take a historical look at Science of Mind, starting in 1922 or somewhere in there when he wrote the first book, to say that there is only one spirit, one God, one divine, that was revolutionary. And to say that this one, that we are uniting, you might say, with this one spirit, one divine. And when you're getting to do this prayer over and over, you can elaborate and you can actually feel yourself opening. Or our affirmative prayer is about us participating, us opening, us being aware of our thoughts as we do a prayer with the divine. And the second step is really a revolution because it's about unification. Now, I was born in the 40s, so in the 50s and 60s as I'm developing, I really had an image of God, old man on a cloud. I never even thought about that the divine could dwell. Now, I was told that, there was a God and that maybe it lived with the Pope, or maybe lived with some other men that were dressed in black at the front of a church. But not the idea that each of us have this connection. That's revolutionary. Now, everybody, at least everybody we know, has gotten used to the idea. I think that is mine, Anne. Thank you. The third step is recognition. And so if you're participating, and we'll use this in our meditation, the third step, if you're talking to a practitioner and you've presented what you're thinking about, what you're, maybe you might call it a problem or a challenge, when you're doing that, that's where we address that. Now, one thing I love about affirmative prayer is we don't go into story, and as I'm not distracted by the story, well, he did this and then she did this to me and my mother did this, those are distractions to uniting with the divine and meeting a challenge that can open you up, that can make you realize that you're supported. So I love that part. So your practitioner is not going to say, well, now Jerry did this to you, or whatever name, Mary did this. So that is a part where we zero in, you might say, on a challenge you have or something that's on your mind. If you're having an operation, we may, that's where we go into knowing the divine hands of the divine are with the doctor and the nurse. And then we have thanks. And I know I've spoken to some people that have, they didn't quite get it. It's like, how can you say thanks for something that it hasn't necessarily happened? But we unite with the gratitude that we have for the opportunity to pray in this way, to feel the divine inside and out, to feel the focus of the divine on that which supports us. And the last is release. And you will hear many practitioners say, God says yes. There is always a yes. There's not, well, come back tomorrow after you've, I don't know, made a penance or something. There is a yes, an understanding. It's already done in the mind of the divine. So that's the steps. So I thought what we do today is meditate on an openness that we have, that we can create. And I think it's so sweet of the divine. Years and years and years of doing this, there's still an opportunity to grow in openness. And sometimes I notice I open the door, but only a crack. So this evening, possibly, I'll open a door larger, an openness to love, an openness to knowing the divine is in all things, everywhere. So any questions about this meditation? I'll just talk us through. And so I'm going to do the steps, and I invite you to open to each step. It doesn't matter if you've done affirmative prayer for a week, a month, a day, 10 years, 20 years. And openness is the presence of this human being having the spiritual experience, always able to open. So if you're comfortable, just relax. If you wish, shut your eyes. We'll have some music. What a beautiful opportunity to meditate this evening. Taking a breath, taking an exhale. What we know is that we hold hands with the divine. And as we pray, as we do our lives, we are always in the presence of God. And God is always in our presence. What we're doing this evening is opening ourselves. You may get some colors. You may get some warmth. You're opening to the divine. Spirit, who is all there is. There is no other power like a devil, or that is not. All is God, all is divine. As you're open to this, you can feel a delight in your body, a caress of your brain and your heart opening. Take a moment there. There may be a crack. There may be a door swinging open. The hinges might come right out the door. What we know is that the divine dwells within us. As we open to this unification, we may have different feelings of humbleness, of gratitude, of joy. Notice any colors that come through, any feelings in your body. It is joyful awareness that the divine dwells within us. We can go to an ocean, we can go to a temple, we can go to a church, or we simply can bring our awareness to inside of ourselves, where the divine is always dwelling. This third step is realization that we have the spiritual power to open ourselves. We might open 5%, we might open 100%, but it is our spiritual power of the indwelling God that we so love and feel so touched by, that we can open ourselves to the awareness that it is us holding hands with the divine, feeling the divine, singing to the divine, and hearing maybe the divine singing back to us. The next step is gratitude. Being thankful. Being aware that it's a privilege to be here, and as we are aware of our spirituality, of our spiritual beingness, and a connection that we have with the divine, there's such gratitude for this opportunity to be here, to share joy, abundance, kindness, love. Spiritual power. Such gratitude for knowing spiritual power, knowing that it is a way to be kinder, more patient, more loving, more joyful, aware of the abundance that we have of air and money and joy and peace and family and pets. And lastly, we release, knowing that our prayer is already done in the mind of God. So it's such a nice thing to know. As we release, we are aware that it's not a human that is doing this, but a release into the hands of God, the heart of God. Release knowing that God has already heard our prayer and it is done. You might do a little body scan now and notice, are you warm? Are you cool? What colors are you feeling? Slowly come back. Slowly come back. We complete by saying, and so it is. I keep on thinking it. There's a fly or something right there. So I thought we could talk a little bit, well, what your reactions were to this meditation. What did anybody notice on the first step when you're unifying? Well, when you are saying your recognition. Anybody have colors or feelings? So I can. You got to speak up. Aha, good. What do you remember the colors? Gold. Oh, neat. Wow. Nice. Anybody else have colors? I often don't think about colors, but when I was with you all, this is what came up. Pink and blue. Nice. Anybody else? Nope. And the second step is unification. And when I did my, you have an oral test when you become a practitioner. And that was the one that they have 3 or 4 people asking you questions. She really suggested that I remember that I hadn't, in her estimation, emphasized it enough. Because it is, there's many people that haven't thought of that. You know, where God could dwell, or they put it in a cross, or, you know, somewhere out, which is fine. But we recognize that it's inside of ourselves. How did that one go? Did it feel, what did it feel like? Did it feel normal? Did it feel a little different? Some of you have done it a long time. Mm. Wow. There is a benefit of affirmative prayer, huh? That we don't feel alone. Mhm. I'm going to repeat that just so it goes on to the live stream. That now I have to remember what you said. That you don't feel alone, and that, tell me the next part, because that was. Yeah. It really. That's why I can say I hold hands with God, because I just feel like, you know, you don't ever separate from, right? Yeah. Nice. Here comes the mic. Here comes the mic. Thank you. Thank you. Mm. Mm. Ooh, that's what I call spiritual power. Yeah. Nice. Anyone else?
So I I was wondering when was the first time I heard that concept about us being one with God, and I think it was about 10 years ago.
Mm.
But it's weird to me to think it was only 10 years ago, because now I feel like I've known it my whole life.
Ah.
So it's kind of weird.
It touches a truth.
Yeah.
Would you say that? Would you say that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I see us as maturing, you know. I started this in 1984, and I've seen how we all mature, including Universal Spirit Center, or Centers for Spiritual Living, actually. Not wanting to say we're a church, but knowing that when you can say you're a center, then you we also have centers all over the world, and some of them didn't feel like a church was the right, wording. So we have matured, huh? I love that. That now you feel like it's something you've always known. Wow, nice. Okay, and realization. Let's see, that was the realization today was that we can open more and more to the divine. How did that feel? I just think, because I've been doing it a long time now, it doesn't feel stale to me. It doesn't feel rote. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it enlivens me. And that I appreciate. Otherwise, I assume I could get bored or something, but now I know we're still all growing, we're still all opening. I've noticed in myself that I can open like more to love. I find that enlivening. So I love that step of realization. Anything from anybody? All right.
I guess for me, I really am grateful for practitioners because the thing that I'd like to work.
Your what vocabulary?
My spiritual vocabulary.
Spiritual vocabulary. Okay.
I can listen to prayer when I'm at the center, and it's just so flowery and beautiful. And so every day now when I do my prayer, I am working on expanding it, making it yummy, making it juicy.
Yummy. We know one practitioner that just uses that word so well. Nice. Very nice. I agree with you. And then I'm so amazed when I hear some other practitioners like, oh, why didn't I think of that? But we're allowed to, share. Yummy and there's another term I picked up. It's called cooking. So some of my ideas are cooking. Some of my spiritual desires are cooking. I sort of like that. Doesn't mean they're done, but they're cooking.
Well, I also think that it's transformational in that I'm not just, oh God, I'm in an emergency, help me. These are the things that I need right now. Please help, please, please, please. It's transformational. I'm in a relationship. And it's not just a one-sided, you're out there somewhere and do something about it.
Yeah.
I am part of the solution.
You are a part of the solution. I call the other, when people treat the divine like an ATM machine. God, I need this and this and this. And I remember, growing up, I wasn't ever in one religion, but it seemed like that. And it seemed like if there was an emergency, you go find the ATM of God and say, And I totally agree with what you said.
And I think that's still okay.
Oh, sure.
That we know that there's a source bigger than us, and we seek to connect with it, no matter how imperfectly that we do that. And we also know that it dwells within us, and we have our own solutions. Rita was just talking about she'd gone to something with some channelers, and that they were saying when the person wanted an answer, they were sending it back to them. What are you getting? What is your answer? Would you say that?
Nice.
So finding those answers within us. And
Yes. And so we have unification, realization, gratitude. What do you think about that one, that thanks or gratitude? What do you think about that? So you're first you said, I don't know, I'm worried about, let's say, so and so. And then, so the realization is that the divine is opening to your heart, and you are opening your heart, and that there is no problem bigger than God, and God has all the answers. And you go into a realization, and it's only 2 or 3 minutes later that you're already saying thank you. What do you think of that?
I think it's really comforting, and it puts me in a state of mind feeling safe, and I'm really grateful for all of that. That's a great space to be in.
Mm-hmm.
So creating the time to do all that brings you back to one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm grateful for that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it is. It's an awareness that that God is not from a human concept. In my opinion, God is not a male, and God's not a female. Those are human concepts, you know. And so we can go to immediate gratitude because God is all there is. And God is a love volume that is emanating in me and everyone. So
Good opportunity.
nice. Yeah, opportunity. Yeah. And the last is release. What do you think about that? We say this is done in the God of mind of God. Mind of God. I was on a trip. Oh, okay, I'll finish. And then I was on a trip with Agape, and me and my roommate got put in the bottom of the ship, the bottom, and it was not pretty, and it was loud, and my that was before I was a practitioner, but my roommate was a practitioner, and she prayed a prayer of that we would be moved up so that we could see the sky, and she did all this prayer, and then I was amazed how she could just release the situation. You could just almost see her. It's just like, and it really impressed me that, and we did. The next time we got on another ship, we got up. It sure, I think it helps, you know, when you have these experiences and you have the affirmative prayer, it sort of solidifies, you know, some of those. What were you going to say about gratitude?
So Margo, I have a question.
Yes, for release.
I often hear practitioners speak about planting a seed in the soil. Can you explain that a little more?
I don't know who said that. Can you give me a context a little bit?
I've just heard it prayer often like, I'm going to release and I'm going to plant this seed into the fertile soil of spirit. And as I plant it, it's already
done.
It's already done.
I don't know, you know, particular, but it makes sense to me that as we're releasing, that's a very good picture, you know, to give someone. So if you were worried about your son going into the hospital, and then so at the end you can say the seed of knowing that every doctor and nurse is there doing miracles with their hands, knowing that God is, you know, you can just pour in the positive, and that the seed makes sense. Now you plant the seed, and then when that person is going into the hospital with their son or something, they can go with. It's a word that that helps somebody know, and I like that because sometimes we don't want to say something, you know, like your son's going to walk out of here, even though the son hadn't walked in 10 years. We don't want to say that. What we do want to say that the divine is dwelling within that person, that we like to say the universe conspires for the good for this That's the way we. I like that, the seed. I'll remember that. Yes.
Well, I'd also say that I like that I no longer need, or it doesn't serve me to carry this problem. It's been released. So that whole it's taken care of. I don't need to go over here and retell the story and create these grooves of and this cycle of making it bigger than it's released. It is taken care of, and then it's like surrounding it with the trust that it'll all work out to my highest good.
Surrounding it with the trust that it will all work out for the highest good of you or whoever.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of saying it.
Well,
That
when you
is.
think about it, so many times you think, well, this didn't work out. You know, you can think that and start creating these stories, but the truth is, later on, I don't know how many times this happened to me. It's like, boy, I'm really glad it didn't work out the way I thought it would, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's look in. Ah. So I thought we could talk just a little bit about the benefits of affirmative prayer. Because we went through them all, and well, you actually touched on one, which made me remember that. Can you think of other benefits of affirmative prayer? So you don't have to carry it with you anymore. I know I was at a retreat with Ricky Byers, and somebody somehow got hurt. I don't remember, fell or something. And there was a practitioner there. And then the person had to go to the hospital. And then people started saying, well, why they go hospital? And the practitioner said, we're not repeating the incident over and over. And I remember thinking that did make sense. That's what you said. You know, when it is complete in the mind of your mind and the mind of God, we don't dig it back up. So what do you think other benefits would be?
Well, it puts me in a positive mind thought. The loop is more positive thinking and positive feeling instead of a negative or pessimistic
Yeah.
about problems. Solution seeking.
Say that again.
Solution seeking.
That's right. That's exactly what happens. When I remember going to, his name was Sam Flynn. He made his transition a couple years ago. And I went to him, and I don't know what I was going through, but something I thought was big. And then I remember afterwards, because generally the practitioner, after you've sat down with them and there's some counseling, then they do a long, beautiful prayer. And I remember thinking afterwards that it just changed my attitude. And it got me into not only solutions, but often the solutions are, if it's a doctor, the doctor's hands are working perfectly. Or if it's not just something I have to make happen. And so it is solutions that sort of wrap you up in a nice warm robe. And I remember feeling almost elated a couple times. And now I think it's nice because we can do a prayer with you and put it on your phone so you can hear it. Because I used to think, can I remember all this? Can I remember all this? But you can now, listen to it. And then the other thing is it keeps on going. So maybe on Monday you get an affirmative prayer about the abundance that we all have. Maybe you come in thinking there's not enough money, and there's a whole thing about abundance, and you leave feeling, there's abundance of air and abundance of money and abundance of joy. And then the next time something else comes up, you still have that that you can then apply to a different situation. Although it's nice to, continue to give prayer, but it's not limited to just one thing. Anything else? Yes.
So, as a practitioner, when you are working with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you typically know it first within your own self
Yeah.
and then speak it for the other person.
Mm-hmm. That was, I mean, I don't know a lot of history on Ernest Holmes. I know a little bit, and I've read the original book. But that was something that it certainly struck me, that he felt like you can't guide somebody else if you aren't involved. So generally, yes, I know for myself that the divine is present in all operations, or whatever you're doing, and I know and something he also believed is you can do prayer over and over. In fact, he recommended it, so that it's not necessarily one time. I think now we're might be looking at it a little differently, but that we're all opening, we're all growing. Whoever is coming to the practitioner and the minister, or whoever you are.
And I think that makes it feel more inclusive. Just praying over me, you're feeling it first with emotion and feeling, and that transmutes it to a prayer for me.
Yeah.
We're working together.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is there any other benefits? Well, I can tell you one. This might sound silly, but I was somewhere else in another place where there was gossip, and when you do an affirmative prayer, you don't gossip. You don't get into negativity. She's this and here at Universal Spirit Center, there is a strict, I think, saying gossip is not, it doesn't make you feel good, and it's not good for others. So if you have something to say, say it to somebody's face, or don't say it, but don't let negativity lead your life. Let the divine and let love lead your life. Anything else? Yes.
Well, it occurred to me, I was going to go to a lunch today, and it was of retired teachers, and I was unable to go, so I just called my friend, and I said, well, how was the speaker? And the speaker was talking about, in these kind of difficult times we're having right now, two key things, and they were joy and gratitude, and seeing joy in the little things, whether it be a bird, a flower, or something, and gratitude. And so when we talk about this prayer, there is a lot of joy and gratitude. And the speaker, it turns out, had a rare form of cancer and was at stage 4 and was given a year to live.
Wow.
And that was several years ago. But she attributed this living in a joy and gratitude. And so how powerful that is to, as I'm thinking about, this is always included in the prayer. Both of those things coexist in that prayer, and it kind of extends out that same kind of healing, whole energy that allows us to go out, and it ripples forward.
It ripples forward. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, let's just have a closing prayer. Thank you, Divine, for this opportunity to share heart to heart, to go over the parts of affirmative prayer, to have a meditation that has invited us to open ourselves, to be an expansion of the divine. What an opportunity, a privilege, and a joy. Please say with me, and so it is. Okay, thank you for coming. That was very nice. Where is Gino? Oh, there she is.